All right, so leaving the red pill. I know that this is a controversial topic, but it's just my personal experience. I'm not trying to make a political or societal statement with the story. Believe whatever you want, whatever ideology you want, but I just wanted to explain why I ended up getting into the red pill, what I gained from it, and why it ended up just not suiting me in the end. This is all from high school. So picture this, basically, it's junior year of high school. I had just started going to the gym only for a semester. So I think I started going like sophomore, spring, and around that time I had just gotten like my heart broken by one of my closest friends, like this closest female friend I was really, really into at the time. And yeah, so I was like really, really alone. I felt it's crazy because I was surrounded by a lot of cool guys, a lot of friends I'm still friends with to this day, but I still felt so alone. And I think the reason that is because a lot of my friends, honestly, back then, like, they were bitchless. I mean, just putting it bluntly. They were bitchless and they didn't have any advice, So I was really scouring like r/relationships, r/dating advice. I was a big Reddit user actually, so I was really on that. And I think just to paint a clearer picture of why I fell into the red pill was a lot of my friends, I almost felt like they were asexual. Like we're in high school, like we either got to be good at talking to girls, getting academics, getting great grades, or being a good sports person, or a mix of the three. A lot of my friends were like none of them, like none of those archetypes. I had one friend in theater, or maybe two friends in theater, but the rest of us, bro, like we were just chilling, like trying to skate by with halfway decent grades. Yes, in advanced classes, but really just grades that our parents were never going to be proud of. We weren't talking to no girls, and we weren't in any sports or anything like that. So we were just cooked in high school, right? And I remember I would walk home with certain friends, and I would I would share stories about me asking girls out, or just really me talking to girls. Getting kind of rejected. Like, when you're talking to a girl, you can kind of tell whether she's like, she'd be down for further conversation or not. And so basically if they're not, like, you got your ass rejected, or you say something stupid in front of them, and they would just laugh. Like, they wouldn't have any advice to give. They would sometimes share their own story, maybe even not share. Maybe they wouldn't even have their own story to share, but it would just be like a laugh fest, right? Like, my stories were just jokes to people, and that's fine. Like, they are genuinely funny stories, but I was feeling really lonely at the time. And I was really looking for advice and guidance on and things. How could I do better? Like, how could I rectify the situation, right? So that's where my head was at. Like, I was surrounded by people, but I was so alone, and I had no real peer guidance, male guidance. So I told you I was looking at r/slash dating advice, all these subreddits, and I came across this subreddit called the Red Pill. Now, I gotta paint a picture because the Red Pill was at least the subreddit of the Red Pill was way different than what you might expect today. It's way different. It was way less political at the time. Like, there was almost no politics being talked about. Yeah, there was some women hatey stuff, or maybe stuff about the biological difference between the two genders. But it was, at least what I was looking at was more like there was a lot of date reports. There was all this new vocabulary I was learning. It was much more pickup artistry. If y'all know what that is, it was much more like pickup artist type vibe. So they were talking about holding your frame, surviving a quote-unquote shit test, this is all so corny to talk about now. I'm so out of that sphere, but it was just shit I was on. So surviving a shit test, negging, all this shit, it was crazy. Building your frame. They would give out work. They would literally give out workout routines. They would put out workout routines on the subreddit. Hygiene routines sometimes. Spinning plates, basically building a roster. Working on your game, right? Your game, your frame, all this stuff. It was a really different and interesting time to be on the manosphere, at least for me. So the first time I saw those testimonials, these date reports, right? Spinning plates, date reports, all that stuff. I want to illustrate why I even got into it first, right? Because it was so special to me, because for the first time I was with a group of guys who these date reports, they would be really good sometimes. First date, you end up sleeping with the person, right? And you write about that online, and you get inspired. You're like, oh shit, anything's possible. But there were a lot of date reports that were just bad. The guy was fucking 5'4", and the girl saw that, she ends up walking out. Or the guy's got he's bald, and he's pulling nobody. Or just the date ends up just going bad. The guy says the wrong thing, and the girl walks out, right? And you know what the comments would say? Right? If I shared that story to my friends, I said the wrong thing to this girl and she walked out, they would laugh at me. But you know what the comments were like? They were like so different. They were supportive in a different way. Some of them were, constructive feedback, constructive criticism, like, what the fuck are you doing? But a lot of it was also like, yo, like, keep going to the gym. King, you got this. Yo, that's why you got to build a roster, man. Don't put all your eggs in a basket. Just like advice and it's a number. Hey, it's plenty of fish in the sea. It's a numbers game. Don't worry, King, you got this. Don't worry, bro, you got this. I'm like, just keep hitting the gym, all that stuff. The gym was a big part of the community, by the way. A really big part of the community. And again, I just started going to the gym. So seeing a group of guys that were so into the gym and swore by it and swore to you, to your face, through the screen, that if you kept going to the gym, you would see results in your social life as well. Like, that was also really powerful. By the way, I was my only friend in the friend group that went to the gym. So I didn't have people telling me that either. Anyways, it was super encouraging, funnily enough, seeing free gym routines, free support, all this stuff, people posting about both good and bad dates. And, I think it's hard to kind of explain just how nice that was. Like, every day I would come home from school and I would study, maybe listen to some music, but I would also just be like, distracting myself, reading all these date reports and feeling so inspired. Again, none of my friends also went on dates, so I had no peers of mine, people that looked at me that were my age, like, going on dates. And like, the Red Pill was like, people like 18 and up, really, like 21, 20 and up, even in their 30s. So people weren't really my age on the subreddit, but still, like, you had youngsters, young guys, at least talking about going on dates, at least talking about living what you wanted to live, and swearing that if you put in the work now, you would see the results later. Super important to me, right? And all this new vocabulary was really cool too, like building your frame, all this stuff. Again, all pickup artistry shit that, not really useful now. You kind of grow out of it, but back then when you had no guidance, it was important. Now, why did I leave it? Now, why did I end up leaving it? This comes in two parts. So part one, so I was a sophomore. Basically, I don't want to say too much, about my age, but basically, I was growing up around the time. That was the Red Pill was coming up with me around the time where, like, the first Trump election was happening. So a lot of controversy in my high school about Trump. A lot of controversy, not a lot of controversy on the subreddit. And I noticed, like, there was basically like infiltration, like a saturation of Trump feed political content entering the subreddit. Now, again, remember, I'm not trying to be political here, and I was not political as much back then. I was really, at least with regards to the subreddit, I was really focused on just trying to learn how to talk to women. I was not there for a political education. And you had all these guys complaining about, oh, I wore my MAGA hat to the date, now she left me, right? Like, that was the thing. Like, I can't relate to that. Like, I would never do something like that. I'm not saying whether I support or don't support MAGA, but I would never be so stupid to wear something political to a first date, right? So there was, like, a lot of complaints about that. There was starting to get more, like, into race baiting. Like, there was a lot more, like, memes about different people's races and stuff coming up, different memes about misogyny, things like that. Like, why aren't women supporting Trump, all this shit. So that was also kind of weird. So that's part A. So that was all. I already started to distance myself. Like, I'm not getting what I want out of this. Now, the second reason why comes up in summer camp. This was summer camp I took at a local university, between academic summer camp, where we lived in the dorms between junior and senior year. So that summer, right, of high school. And basically, there's this girl. I'm not going to give out the first name, obviously, but her last name was Ho, right? H-O. And she's Chinese, that's why her last name was that. And basically, she was super nice. Like, I would sit up in front of class, and basically, like, I would fall asleep in class sometimes, and she would, like, just without me even asking, without me barely even knowing her, she would tap my shoulder, and she would, like, give me a stick of gum to chew on. So I stayed awake in class. And again, like, I was in the, like, middle to front of the class. It's like a small classroom, so the teacher would be able to see me if I was falling asleep. So she really saved my ass. Right, I was trying to get, like, a rec letter from this teacher, all this stuff. So, like, again, she was super helpful. She was always very kind and friendly to me. I think I had invited her out, just to hang out with me, but I think she was busy sometimes. But again, she was super friendly in class, just a friendly person overall. Now, the reason I brought up her last name being Ho was because I think one time we were all, like, playing some truth or drink, not like anything with alcohol, but like truth or drink Gatorade, or we were all just hanging out, like, just doing something innocuous, innocent. And we started talking about sex. I think she brought up that she had had a sexual experience at that age. In high school, it's still kind of new. So she'd had a sexual experience at that age. And I remember thinking, yo, what if I made a joke about her last name and, like, basically insert joke about being a hoe with when your last name is hoe, right? Like insert some promiscuous joke and make fun of your last name. And this kind of came from the idea of negging, if y'all remember that. Like I just told you, negging is basically like where you make a negative comment to a girl and she ends up for some reason kind of liking it. And she blushes, and because women basically, it's this theory where women are so pedestalized by men that they actually enjoy being like negged, like having negative comments thrown at them because it's something new to them. Obviously, it's like laughably bullshit, I think, for most women who at least have a father in their lives. But like, I thought that was going to be a good idea, and I didn't end up doing it, so I did not say that. But I remember thinking to myself, like, I can't believe I seriously contemplated saying that to her. Someone who's been nothing but kind to me. Like, and I kind of found her attractive, and that's kind of why I wanted to, make this negging comment. But someone's been nothing but kind to me, and making fun of their last name and connecting it with like quote unquote promiscuity, just like a consensual sexual act that she'd had with another guy. Like, really? Like, this is what I was taking away from it? So basically those two things, like the increased politicization and then me realizing that I think I'm becoming like a worse person. Like, I'm getting diminishing marginal returns from being on the red pill. Those two things made me kind of take a step back, and I basically left the community after that. I wasn't some active I was just a lurker. I wasn't some active poster, but I basically stopped lurking after that. And it's crazy. This is kind of like this video I don't tell my friends about it much. I don't think I've really told anyone, maybe one or two people in my life, but that was like years ago. But yeah, I just wanted to be open, maybe in case this helps someone, but just to reminisce, like this was an important part of my life. And the red pill did give me lasting, how do I say this? It gave me like a lasting impact for sure. It is something I think about from time to time. And it really helped my younger self, right? Like your inner child, it really helped. But I think it overstayed its welcome. And that's just personally why I left. Anyways, see y'all guys the next time. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Hope y'all took something out of it. Take care.